a situation that has lasted far too long without any deliberate action. And I'm not finding fault with the new person that's going to be responsible for resolving a lot of the problems that this town has. So I'm going to read a letter that I wrote to the mayor on June the 27th. And it says, I'm writing to share my concern and my anxiety over a problematic situation that has been going on for far too long and which can possibly become a danger not only to myself but also my neighbors on Green Street. In December of 2021, I attended the city council meeting and raised the issue of overgrowth that is next to the house where I live at 258 Green Street. On previous occasions, I raised the same issue, particularly because it has become a health hazard because of rodent infestation, not only in my house, but in the neighborhood homes as well. In December 2021, I spoke to the acting town manager who told me that the town was hiring a code enforcement officer after the first of the year. I was not contacted until mid-February when the enforcement officer called and told me that he was aware of the situation and that he would be out to see me the following week. I told him that I was available at his convenience and just called me a day before. Unfortunately, I never heard from him again, and I understand that he's no longer employed in that position. Now that we are facing unstable and unpredictable, hotter weather than usual, I wrote this in June, with extremely high temperatures, I am more than concerned about the potential fire hazard that the overgrowth could be. It is impossible, at that time it was, to even walk down the sidewalk because of the density of the overgrowth. I have emailed images under a separate email. If there were to be a fire because of the negligence of the town, who has not addressed this problem, the possibility of danger to myself as well as to others could be avoided if the town lived up to its responsibilities and became proactive. I contacted the health department, the county, and even the Pacolet Fire Department, all of whom told me that it was the town's responsibility and that they had no jurisdiction. While it was my intent to be a good neighbor as well as a value to this town, not only is it responsible not only is it the responsibility of the town to abate a potential hazard, and that has been continually ignored, and it is a disservice to myself and the neighbors on my block. I also want to add that the rats were so big that my neighbor was shooting with the baby gun. And I did things to get rid of the problem, but it still persists. Frankly, I shall explore whatever actions are available to me to address this situation, for I can no longer accept indifference, negligence, and a potential danger to myself or my disabled daughter. And I want to say, in all fairness, I spoke to Mr. K, who is new, and I spoke to him on the day that he started, and he has been more than polite, and he has kept me abreast, and he's making an effort to get it resolved. But everybody, when I talked to people before, they always talked about due process, and people had rights. I have rights too, and it's not been fair. Now, I understand that the last part of this process is that the owner has been contacted, and I understand that she didn't respond, but she hasn't responded for 5 years, so that's not a surprise. And that they have to go through the process and notify her, and then if they take an action that she doesn't agree with, then she has to go to, I guess it's arbitration or she has an opportunity to protest the whatever the settlement is. And that has to do with the formation of a board to review any discords that she has.
Ms. Lord, we have 3 minutes limit on that.
All right, I'm writing enough, okay?
Okay.
The other part of it is that I'm suffering more than the rat problem because it's going to be cold in a minute. But personally, I want my brother to come whom I haven't seen in 5 years. And I told him today to cancel the trip because I don't have any confidence that this process is going to move along. If it moves at the same pace that it has for the last 5 years, I'll still be talking about this in December. Thank you.
Thank you. Buzzard.
I just want to say my name is Brian Bozard, I live at 474 McDowell Street here in Pacolet. I'd like to put the town on notice that 10 days from today, which is October 6th, I'd like answers to my comments and questions, I'd like it in an email form to include the members, mayor, council, town administrator, and town clerk. In a recent town council meeting on September 6th, a motion was made to terminate the current town administrator. Vote came up 3-3. According to the Town Municipal Code, Section 2-55, voting requirements, every member of Town Council present, including the mayor, presiding member, shall vote on every question except when required to refrain from voting by state law. Any voluntary abstention from the voting shall be recorded in the minutes as a vote in the favor of the motion. What does abstention mean? It's a term in election procedures when the participant of the vote is either does not go to the vote or is present and decides not to vote. I would also like to look at section 2-87 of the section of the municipal code following. The removal of the office administrator may be removed by office by a majority vote of the council. Those members voting for the removal shall state their reason for such a vote. So when things come up like that, if we're going to vote, we'd like to hear why, yes or no. It leads to my next point. With the recent resignations of the town police department, which is going to be a big topic tonight, I believe, the word transparency comes to mind. The definition of transparency is the quality or state of being transparent. Is perhaps most commonly used in a figurative way to refer to the state in which things are free from any attempt to hide something, as in, the council has not been transparent with the press or the citizens. I ask that the town provide a statement tonight or in the near future to the town on why this did not happen. Yes, the police gave an ultimatum, but so did the town clerk. She gave an ultimatum that if she was not reduced, if her pay was reduced, that she would quit in the middle of the town council meeting. But not only did she not get a reduction in her pay, but she got a $4,000 raise. Without the town voting to approve this like they did with all the other town employees. Police department, sanitation. Her raise was only approved by the town budget being pushed and being approved without the council really reviewing the town, being reviewed by the council. The town needs answers. Next item I'd like to bring up to is ordinance 2005. Council members holding position according to the municipal South Carolina code. Only 2 of the 7 of you have completed such training to hold the positions as mayor and of town council. I'd like to know why only 2 of you out of the 7 have completed this training that, according to an ordinance, is supposed to be completed. You hold us accountable with ordinances, so I'd like for you to tell us why. And that last thing, and I'll end. One of our town councilmen, District 4, Thomas Williams, has been, in my opinion, unethical in some of the things that he has said on Facebook, referring to our town as being a mess. We made the mess.
You can't call anybody out by name, in here.
Okay, then I'll call it, then.
Call them out by name.
Okay, was not told that. A town councilman on Facebook, we've created a mess, he didn't create it. He's only been here for a month, and that we're the reason that our town is in a mess. He came from a town that wasn't in a mess. Yes, the cops threw a tantrum to quit. That was their choice. Okay. Thank you.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to include the proclamation.
Motion made second to amend the agenda for the proclamation of Melvin Lee. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, we have some representatives from the family. Melvin Lee, come forward. throughout the rich history of the United States, patriotic men and women have taken up the arms and sworn an oath to defend our nation. Established an honorable tradition of dedicated service, and whereas more than 3 million men and women served in Vietnam, and more than 58,000 making the ultimate sacrifice. More than 304,000 were wounded, and more than 1,500 were missing in action. Whereas Melvin Lee, born in Pacolet, South Carolina, October 30th, 1947, to Mother Irene and Father Claude Lee, and at the age of 20 was drafted to the Army of the United States as an infantryman and began his tour on March 2nd, 1968. Whereas Melvin Lee was killed in action at the age of 21 on Easter Sunday, April the 6th, 1969, while in Tay Ninh Province, South Vietnam, while serving with C Company, 2nd Battalion, 1st Cavalry Division as an acting sergeant, and therefore, by the virtue and the authority vested in the mayor and the council of the town of Pacolet, let it be known that the 6th day of October is forever known as Melvin Lee Day to celebrate his life and legacy in the United States of America and the town of Pacolet. The minutes of September 1st.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of September 1st meeting, September 6th meeting, and September 15th.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of September 1st, 6th, and 15th. All in favor? All opposed? Full business, limb collection.
Mayor, Council, sent you a mixed copy of the limb collection, is based on comments that you guys have requested. Is there any questions on those? I will read through them if you'd like.
Any questions, anybody have any?
Is it still what we
Yeah.
wanted? To me, it seems redundant that we're gonna go back to a location.
What's this?
Why are we changing it? We're limited how long a limb can be, we're limited the size of a pile, and we're limited basically the work the homeowner can do at one time. And to me, that's not right.
Let me read what I've got here, and if there's any questions on there, anything that you guys want to change, I can change that. This will be the new proposed limb collection regulations. The service of limb collection is designed for residents that trim bushes and trees in their yard, and is not a service to assist in land clearing or tree removal. Limbs should be small and not require major work to collect and dispose of. Currently, we are spending as much as 45 minutes at some residences, which cuts down the number of homes that our crew can visit each week. In order to cut that time down 15 minutes, limb removal, cut down the time to 15 minutes of limb removal at each location, we are updating our limb collection regulations. These updated regulations will help us to be able to simplify our process and clear more debris, so your debris doesn't stay on the side of the road for more than a month. If you have any questions, I have my contact information on there. Section A, limbs must be at the side of the road. Limbs are not to be placed on or blocking public street surfaces, public sidewalks, surfaces, gutters, public drainage facilities, or property belonging to someone else without that owner's permission. All limbs must face the same direction, parallel with the street. Section C, limbs must be cut up in manageable pieces not more than 6 foot in length, with piles not more than 4 feet high. Only one pile will be picked up each time. Other piles should not be placed by the road until the previous pile has been removed. Section D, larger limbs must be cut smaller and nothing over 6 inches in diameter will be accepted. Section E, limbs must not contain trash, construction materials, pet waste, or anything other than limb debris. Section F, if you hire a private contractor, they must haul away debris they cut. Section G, collection workers are not to spend more than 15 minutes at one residence. And Section H, violations of these regulations will result in limbs not picked up.
You say you want it to be,
I don't understand why we're limiting one pile before another one. I mean, that's telling the homeowner that they can't complete their work until the town comes around and picks up the first pile.
Well, they just wouldn't take it out to the road, so it could be still on property, but it just
But
wouldn't
I
be
don't want to
taken out.
drag my limbs twice no more than anybody else does. Nor, anybody trying to wood chipper, 6 foot limb is not, I don't see that being a big deal. 6 foot's awful small for a limb.
We could extend that if you wanted to be longer, that's up to y'all.
It does make sense that, so let's say, for example, a tree fell, and the homeowner cleans it up, and they can only put 6 foot of limbs, 4 foot by 4 foot, and then the rest of that tree, they have to leave it stacked inside their house or in their yard for the time remaining. If that is near their house, then I'm sure that's probably a fire hazard. There's a lot of reasons why. I would say, if anything, it's okay to leave them by the road, and if they spend 15 minutes and don't get them all picked up, then they can come the next time.
That's perfectly
Something of
fine.
that sort. I would rather have, if there is a problem, or if all the trees need to be trimmed at one time, and there's a time limit, I understand that, but I don't think piling them up in your yard somewhere else and then having to move them again.
I can take out that second section on C, so where it says only one pile will be picked up each time, other piles should not be placed by the road until the previous pile has been removed. I can take that whole section out, if that's what council.
are we gonna limit it to 15 minutes?
The time limit out there I'm okay with, because everybody needs attention,
Right.
but just the
The whole object is to speed up the service so that more people can get the service. There's a lot of people that have small piles, and some people that have large piles, and that's understandable. But everybody needs to have their limbs picked up as often as possible.
Absolutely.
So the size of the pile, if there's a debris pile in your side yard, then that's a code violation. So we can't ask them to put them out there, but if they put them on the street, then that can't be, code violation there. It's just limited on how much they can pick up. And I think that's appropriate.
That's fine. We just set it up so you put as many piles as you want to out there. Each pile would have to be the same kind of 6 foot by 4 foot, but you do multiple all the way down the street. And each time they come by, they'll spend 15 minutes picking up one pile or two.
However long 15 minutes is.
And I'll say from when I'm going out with those guys, most of the piles take 5-10 minutes.
Right, yeah.
Very rarely do you have a pile that we go through and it's more than 15-20 minutes and we have to stop and go to another pile.
I think it's appropriate to limit the time spent. Because, some yards, if their whole tree falls, they might spend all day out there.
Are we okay then with having piles on the side of the road?
It would essentially have to be okay with having piles on the side of the road.
It's past the side of the road now.
that's just the historically how it is.
We can't ask the homeowner to pile them on their property and bring them out little by little.
Any
regulations?
Any regulations what?
As stated?
Yeah. That's what we're talking about, updating, you doing that. Is that right with everybody?
The motion made is for the current updated as spoken, right?
Correct. So it'll have to be to vote to amend what has been presented to you all.
Right.
And if y'all would like, if someone would like to vote to amend the regulations to strike out only one pile will be picked up each time, and other piles should not be placed by the road until a previous pile has been removed.
I make a motion to amend
You just said that's
the
it.
limb collection regulation.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions? Any comments? All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Okay, the planning, commission appointment? I'm sorry.
You voted to amend right there, and now you can actually vote for that.
Yeah, okay, now, okay. Any motion?
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Motion made and approved.
Second.
Second. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Okay, we got the land collection that we did. Okay. Planning and commission appointments.
So the way we've got it set up is each council member is to appoint one person from their district for the appeals, for the planning commission board, and then the mayor would vote for one person at large to be in that position. If I could get District 1's nomination, which would be Jason, do you have a,
I'll give you a list.
okay.
We can just give you a list after the meeting, is that would that be okay?
As long as y'all can approve that, because I don't want to wait to, I wouldn't, or I'd rather not wait till another meeting to approve the group. So as long as we can approve the group, each one for each location.
You mean approve the group? We vote on whether we're going to allow them?
I guess it would be as long as the council is okay with everyone who's been, each nominated for each location.
Each council person has the authority to appoint two
Appoint.
people, one
Okay.
for each board. There's no vote, and we don't approve each person's.
If I can have, well, in that case, if I can just have y'all's appointment by the end of the meeting today, so that I can let them know, and we can go ahead and begin information we'll send out to the planning commission and schedule a training session for them.
Yeah. As soon as we can get those, we can get the code and enforcement and all in place.
That's actually for the planning commission. The appeals board is the second piece of that. And once the appeals board is put in place, we can start issuing code violations with RCM. So does everyone have someone to appoint for the appeals board as well? Okay, and I've already got yours. The last thing on there of old business is the engineering firm selection. I sent you all copies of this. That's the reason the packet was 178 pages. Staff recommendation is that we move forward with Summit. The reason for Summit was that they are the lowest cost based on the rest of the group. They have the most repeat business with the same number of clients that are out there. They're local to the area, actually one of the closest, if not the closest to the area. But the main thing was for me was repeat business with reputable companies, reputable organizations in the state of South Carolina.
Is there any monies associated with any of these companies, startup, any of that?
What was that again?
Is there any cost?
There is no cost for y'all approving them as our on-call engineering firm.
Right.
Once we decide to do projects that are out there, that's when we would vote to spend those funds. As of right now, it's just saying that we like this company and that's our preferred go-to group.
I prefer Summit to reading to I make a motion to approve Summit as the engineering firm selection.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Any questions concerning the engineering firm? All in favor? All opposed? New business.
The Riverwalk Park update, sent you all copies of what has been proposed in the past. Ms. Lane Harris had worked tirelessly, I believe, on putting together some plans that are out there. Now that we have an engineering firm that we can work with, it's, I guess, a request, but just a notification. I'll be planning to reach out to the Summit group and let them know that we want to make sure we want to update those plans because the plans have been looked at, I believe, about 10 years. What I need to be able to go out for grants and funding is I need to have a plan that the council likes and cost estimates. And once I have those two things, I can go out and seek grants for this project.
I think, probably an update on those, I would like to see, not just the, park, we'd like to see, maybe some, retail or whatever, stores or anything, be included in there.
Absolutely. I've had a meeting, go ahead.
That's all I gotta say.
I've had a meeting with Jennifer Calabria with Pacolet Milliken, and I've had a meeting, it'll be later this month, with Lockhart Power, with Andrea Powell and the owner of Lockhart Power. We're gonna get together and talk about some ideas, and they seem refreshed with the idea that we're gonna bring back some of these projects with this, that Mayor Harris was working on a long time ago. So I'll come back with you in the next meeting with cost estimates, just to be able to move forward with that. And so what we're gonna do is a chance that they can come out, talk to us, if there's some things that we want to add to it, that they can have that information as we kind of go out for, on the next step on there.
Will there be a cost involved in, at least getting some kind of plan together, that kind of deal? Do you have any idea of what that cost would be?
I don't. That's what I want to do is with this is just, I say request on here, but I'm planning after we've now gotten the engineering firm selected to be able to reach out to them and say, this is what we'd like to do moving forward. And this is what I need to go to seek grants. They would give us a cost estimate. So at the next meeting, y'all can say, yes, we want to move forward and update our plans and potentially change some stuff. And at the end, give a cost estimate of what that's going to cost to be able to move forward. The next thing I've got on there is the golf room update. Sent you all a copy of this. I think everyone's fully aware. There was a South Carolina Department of Aging PIP grant for $350,000. There was a CDBG grant for $278,000. Then there was a general obligation bond that was not tied to the building. It was $211,101. Of that general obligation bond, we paid back $121,000. Currently have $89,000 left remaining for the general obligation bond. What I am requesting from y'all is something that y'all have done in the past with the mayor and administrator, is the ability to go out and talk to the South Carolina Department of Aging, CDBG, and try to negotiate our next steps on here. We currently are in pending litigation with Mr. Cal Alexander. Cal Allison. Sorry. And that has not been put on the dockets yet as they're waiting to finish things out with COVID, but we can still pursue that. We have interested buyers who are interested in buying that building and developing it, which would put it on the tax base, tax digest for us. But what I'm asking is not to sign an agreement, but just to go out there and talk to all the interested parties that are out there and bring something back to y'all at the next meeting or a future meeting with a solution on how we can move forward and see that project actually develop.
Do you have a copy of the agreement that you made with the previous person?
Yes, I have the copy where it was to purchase the property.
Yes.
Yes, and it expired after the 90 days.
That was my next question.
Yeah, that was the amount that's on there was something that was brought up by him, but since it had to have 90 days to execute the agreement, and that never happened, so it made the contract null and void. Any questions? Are you all okay with this?
Anybody have any objections to that? Let's do it. Okay.
give y'all an update on the Pacolet River Fest. Y'all may have seen some stuff online. All the bands have been booked for the festival. Everything is planned to move forward on there. Give me 1 second.
What is the festival? When? It's October.
Currently, we have at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Cliffdale Middle Chorus that's playing. At 9:30, the Pacolet First Baptist Choir. 10:30, at Pacolet Elementary School. 1 o'clock, Soul Intent. 2:30, Tres Gringos. 4 o'clock, Carolina Classic Country, which is the new name of Jimmy Webb's band. 5:30 is Retro 78, and 7 o'clock is Dirty Grass Soul. Based on Facebook right now, we have close to about 600, 700 people that have said that they are interested in coming. Based on what was on Facebook last year, I think it was about 1,200 people who said they were interested in coming last year, and y'all ended up having about 3,000 or 4,000 people. So still being a week away, I think there's a good chance that we're going to have close to 2,000 people for this event, maybe more. As of right now, in terms of advertising, we'll be doing some print posters. Will be going out very soon. If you're driving around on Reedville Road, you'll see a digital billboard at the intersection of Reedville Road and I-26 that has information on the, there's a Denny's that's right down there. But there's, on both sides of the digital billboard is information about the Pacolet River Festival. We've also, the Lyles have been generous enough to donate some money so it can be on the radio stations, so it's currently playing there. But it's going out to a lot of different locations and being shared all over Facebook, and we should have a great turnout for that. Due to the fact that we started with sponsorship a little bit late in the season, and with things being changed off with new event coordinators on there, I am requesting that we take some money out of the hospitality tax fund and be able to fund the event. In previous conversations, Jason, we had talked about that, or Mr. Wright, we had talked about this. And what I look back into last year is for last year's festival, there was $7,395.41 that was written from the hospitality tax account for expenses for the festival. And so what I'm just asking for is a $6,500 transfer from the hospitality tax account into this account to be able to cover expenses for this event.
Questions?
I believe we're going to break even on the festival, make a little bit of money on there. A lot of the money that will be coming in is coming the day of the festival. And I don't want us to be in a situation that we're writing checks out of an account that we're not able to clear. And that's the reason that I'm requesting the $6,500 to come over from the hospitality tax account.
Is the hospitality budget, does it include that amount of money?
The hospitality account currently has $92,000 in it. And so it has that ability to be able to transfer that over there. So in the past, although it may not have been budgeted for that, that's where a lot of the expenses for the festival have come from. My hope in next year, as we move forward with this, is get to the point where our sponsorships and the event itself cover it 100%, and there's no money that needs to come from the hospitality tax at all.
Do you need a motion to approve this change?
I do need a motion for that.
I make a motion to transfer $6,500 from the hospitality tax fund over to the festival fund.
Motion made and seconded to transfer the $6,500 from the hospitality tax fund to the
The Pacolet River Fest Fund.
Right. Any other questions? All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
We received a request from the Pacolet High School Reunion Committee. In the past, the council has donated, I believe it was approximately $200 to, is Rita still here? It was $200 that's been transferred over to the Pacolet High School Reunion Committee for their reunion that's coming up on October 15th. This year, they're asking for $250.
You need a motion.
I need a motion for that.
I motion to get the $200 for the high school reunion.
Motion made, second. Any other questions?
This is a established committee.
This is an established committee that's been putting on the Pacolet High School reunion for a long time. One thing we're also doing that's a little bit different from last year is for the Pacolet River Fest is we're running buses up to that group. So when they get out around 3 or 4 o'clock, they'll be picked up and taken down to the River Festival. And then after the festival's over with, we'll shuttle them back up there.
Yeah.
Hearing motion made and second, any other questions? All in favor? All opposed?
I think this is long awaited, but the HVAC bids for Town Hall and Police Department, this is to do everything between this building here and out at the Police Department. It was a request by a council member to try to consolidate some of the units, and so instead of having 5 units that we currently have in this building, to try to reduce that down for efficiency, it just kind of makes more sense if we have the opportunity to do that. We sent this out for bid for several companies and came back with CWG, which is a local company. It's $79,806.29. General Air was the company that bid $94,435. And Priority Heating and Air was $79,270. Although Priority Heating and Air's price was lower, they did not follow the instructions that we were looking for. They are planning to replace 5 with 5. The CWG is planning to replace the 5 in here with just 4 units, 1 down in the basement, 1 for this room here, and then 2 in the back that'll be back there. The other thing that I liked about CWG is they are a local company, and the current owner of CWG's grandfather installed the HVAC system in this building that we currently are using.
Does that include the police department?
Yes, the $79,806.29 from CWG covers the cost of everything here in this building and over the police department.
What was the cost to just replace the 1 unit that needed to be replaced?
The 1 unit, we were looking at replacing 2 units inside of here, and each one was approximately $6,500 a piece. It's going to be a lot more to go in, and there's going to have to be replaced some ductwork and that sort of thing to make it more efficient to use the units.
Do we know where this money's coming from?
The money would come from ARPA, is what I've been proposing for that.
Based on what qualification?
So ARPA has changed its laws and their guidelines on there. They used to be based on the 4 guidelines, and they came in with the final rule, and the final rule opens it up to more of what councils are doing. I mean, regular day-to-day operations of councils. I don't have the guidelines here with me, but I can show that to you another day. But we would be approved to move forward with that in ARPA funds.
Any more questions? What? I'm sorry?
I was still thinking.
Oh, okay.
If you like, you can make the motion based on the getting attorney approval of using ARPA funds for this project.
Was that in the packet?
What, using the funds for the ARPA there?
The heat and air.
The heating and air was in the packet, yes.
I didn't scroll down far enough, probably.
It's not as hot as it was last month, so if y'all wanted to table this again,
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to table it for now.
Okay. Motion to table. It's tabled. Okay. Moving on.
Last thing on the agenda that I have is the road maintenance and repair selection on there. I was hoping that y'all may have some sort of suggestions on roads that need to be updated. This would be the proposal that we would have money from our CTC fund as well as our $25 fund that's out there to be able to be done. Recently we've done Fuller Street and Cleveland Street. And so this would be to do another section, another couple more roads in the community. Originally, I was going to request or suggest that y'all do a Deerwood, which is the end of Hillbrook that goes out to 176, but technically I believe that's a state road. And so I don't think that we would necessarily be the ones to pay for that. There's some other streets that are around here that you may want to look at. Cleveland Street on Harveytown may be an option. There's some sections in there that are in need of some work. But I wanted y'all to consider which roads in your district that you would like to have repaired. I'm still compiling the list of roads in the town of Pacolet in a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of the scaling system that they use to rate roads throughout the entire county. I'm still putting that together as we speak for that.
When do we need to have that?
We're technically already past deadlines, but it sounds like that they were going to give us some leeway on this. So they have not called me with a drop dead deadline on there, but I definitely want y'all to think about some roads that y'all have driven on in your districts that you think need to be repaired. And I'll also finish compiling my list, and I'll send it out to y'all with some suggestions of some locations.
Well, I'll say right now, I think Cleveland will be okay. I mean, it's okay. A lot of some other ones are rougher shape in Cleveland.
Do you know how much is in the CTC funds currently?
I do not. In the $25 account, we have about $147,000 on there. I'll have to get back to you what's available from the CTC and how much we can actually do in terms of square feet, square yards of what we can cover.
I have some in District 6, and I'll give you the list of those.
Please do. Thank you.
Any other questions on the room? Comment?
I'd like to get, I was talking to the judge last month. She had some concerns, so I'd like to get the attorney to address those concerns and work with her on those. That's okay.
See, why not? Need to get her here because it's going to come up in October the 26th.
Yeah.
We
Postponed the last one. So getting an interim chief would probably help that.
it closes tomorrow, getting the interim chief in, so we'll have those, and we probably need to have a committee appointed to look over those resumes, and they should have those back to us by Monday, you think?
What I would like, I talked to Trey about this, and this is for everybody to agree on or not agree on, but I talked to Trey, since we asked the Appalachian Council of Governments to do this, facilitate this for us, maybe filter through, pick his picks, and if he comes up with 2 or 3, then we have a meeting where all the council members can talk can interview these individuals. We'd have to do it in an executive session because of privacy, but I would like all the council members to be able to talk to the possible candidates for interim chief, not just a panel of people. That's right.
Okay, well, that'd be good, and you can get that to us Monday, and like we can call a meeting. I don't know when if Trey knows Appalachian Council, if they can come up with, as soon as they come up with it, we'll have a meeting. Call a meeting, and
I'm assuming he's going to take a week.
Yeah, probably look them over.
Yeah, just background checks and such.
Yeah.
To be done. So it may be a week or 2, but I would rather, if possible, do this before the November council meeting.
Yes.
So that we have time to interview and then make a selection, even if it is November's council meeting, that we do actually appoint one. But we have time to interview them.
Sure.
Talk to them.
So I'll talk to Trey. It closes tomorrow afternoon, so I'll talk to him late in the afternoon or first Monday and try to have him go ahead and start putting together a short list, and then a list of everybody who's come through, and then we can talk about how we want to move forward in terms hours of a called meeting with an executive session, and y'all have a chance to talk to and interview each one of them in person.
Okay. Any other, you got any more comments? Comments?
I do. I put in your packet, I just want to let y'all know, I signed the millage rate certification, and so we are maintaining our current millage rate of 0.0842, which is what it has been. But just wanted y'all to be aware of that.
How long is it?
I don't know that, but I will check and find out. We can do this a little bit later, but before the end of this meeting, and we can do it after the meeting, we need to have a council retreat. The date was originally proposed. There were about 3 council members that couldn't be there. I think it's very important that everybody is there for our council retreat. So before y'all leave tonight, I need to find out what is the best day. If we need to, we can do it a Saturday or a Sunday to make sure that all of y'all are there. This is something that I asked for you guys back during my interview for the job, but I'd like to create a 501c3, a community 501c3 that we can raise funds for. It'll be the Pacolet River Fest will use this as well as other things. I believe we'll get more sponsorships out there, knowing that it's a federally approved IRS 501c3 organization. And the way it would be set up is members of the current Pacolet River Festival Committee, as well as some council members and myself, will be on this group that would just kind of manage this 501c3. If y'all are okay, then I'll proceed with this.
Any questions about that? Any objections to that?
Just want to remind all of y'all, I believe I've got 3 of y'all who have signed up with your new council email addresses. If you need help with that, Leslie Alexander can set that up for you. If you need to, I can try. Keep in mind I said try. But definitely can have our IT, Leslie Alexander, walk you through how to do all of that. I believe that's all I've got for you today.
Okay.
I will say one last thing, I'm sorry. We are currently low on volunteers for the Pacolet River Festival. I know that some of y'all plan to be there just all day long, which is amazing. But if there's any of y'all who can please look at, we've sent out a link on our Facebook page. It's called a Sign Up Genius. It's a way to easily kind of see all the different positions that are out there. But please send that to your friends, send that to your family, send it to whomever you can. Everyone gets a free t-shirt who participates, but we really need volunteers to make this work out.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Okay. Any comments?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to terminate the administrator's contract.
That motion is failed, or we do not bring it up again as a group. Robert rules will not allow us to bring it up again.
Wow.
It's Robert rules, we go by Robert rules. If it fails, if the motion fails, then we cannot bring it up again.
I understand why I can't.
We go by Robert's rules and not be brought up again. There's an opposing person from the vote.
Say it again.
Okay, if you voted for it to do that, it has to be someone that voted against it to bring it up. Robert's rules.
If you took place in the motion.
Okay. Have any other comments?
Some guidance on something, guys.
Okay.
I had 2 residents call me this week regarding dogs, and they called animal control, and I just needed something to help guide them, because I am scared that if a dog, get out of them, they're not able to get away from these vehicles. Children are playing, I don't know what else to do.
I've got a phone number for you.
And it's the same problems.
I just dealt with animal control probably 2 days ago.
The county is supposed to help.
You got one in Wooded.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The chief actually told me to defend himself if necessary.
Yeah, if you're having issues with the animal control, you know, contact the 911 like you normally would. And if you're having an issue with, you know, getting follow-up, let me know, and I can reach out to our contact, to make sure that's taken care of.
It's the same.
Okay.
I think everybody in town should know that that's the best procedures. If you see stray animals, dogs, 911 is always the best, no matter what the incident.
So that's what we need to,
911.
you know, if anybody contacts you, you know, that's the first policy of the 911. If they can't get time, you know, everybody's out, and you have a number that you need to share with someone, so we can get somebody to take care of it.
Thank you.
Just remind everybody, the River Fest coming up. We'd like to see everyone come out. It's going to be a good time of the year, good time for us to show Pacolet out. And thanks for all the hard work for everybody, and we'll entertain the motion to adjourn. Motion adjourned. Motion adjourned, all in favor?